Hello and welcome once again. Today we're going to be taking a look at case reviews, and we might be looking at case reviews in a way that you haven't thought of before. So I'm on the settings page. Under the cases section, we're going to click on case reviews. And here we have two case reviews that we've created. We're going to take a closer look and add some additional questions to them. One you might recognize is the performance review. If you use case reviews for performance reviews, you know that you can create rated questions to generate a score for your investigator. Now, something you can do with your case reviews outside of the realm of a performance review is something like a daily log. In this case, we've created a daily surveillance log, and depending on which questions you ask, you can gather metrics from that and take a look at that over the course of your investigations with particular clients and over a particular period of time. So let's take a look at what that means. So let's go ahead and click on our daily surveillance log. You can see it's kind of a standard stuff. If you've looked at the review, it has a label, has an access group. We obviously want the investigator to have access to this particular review because they're going to want to log in and complete it on a regular basis. We have the case status as open and working, and that's because we need it open during an active case status. And this is the case status that the review will become available. And then we have our review type. In this case, we have manually create selected because this needs to be created more than once every time this particular action is going to be done. In this case, a surveillance. The investigator is going to log in and manually create the review and answer these questions that we're going to take a look at here in just a second. So I have a couple of questions here. I have, was video captured? It's a simple yes or no. I have how many minutes of video were captured? It's going to be a raw number. And I do want to add one more field is, was the evidence of fraud observed? Something along those lines. I can select a yes or no question. I can select a default value if I want. It's going to save the custom field. I've it made available to all of the different case types. If I need to, I can move these questions around by clicking and dragging the blue arrows. That looks good to me for now. I'm going to save the review. Let's take a look at it from the investigator's point of view. I'm going to complete it really quick. Here I'm signed in as Dick Tracy. I'm going to go to the case and click new review. Now, the investigator will need to have access to create new reviews in order to utilize this feature. You can see this daily surveillance log that I just created. Great, and I can go ahead and set the review date. Was video captured? Yes. The 250 minutes of video were captured. Evidence of fraud observed? Yes. And I can add any additional notes if I needed to. I'm going to save that review. Now, if we head back over to the case manager's view, take a look at what that looks like on the case. So find that case, click on the reviews tab, and we can see that it's already had one created. It's going to take a look at this one and mark that as complete. Just kind of review all the information. Looks good, and we're all set. So let's take a look at a performance review. And we go back to our case reviews. And here's our investigator performance review. Great. So it's much the same setup there. So we have a label. However, in this case, we have it set to an administrator access group because this is going to be at the end of the investigation, and it's going to be for managers and for chief operators only to be able to overview and to make sure that this review is administered correctly. The case status is set to investigation complete, so at this point it's not during an active status. The work's been done, and now we're going to review the work of the investigator. And then we're going to have it set up as auto-generate, so we only need one performance review per case. So this is what this auto-generate is going to do. When the case reaches the investigation complete status, all investigators in this situation will receive a review. So it'll generate a review for them. You can obviously create all sorts of different case all sorts of performance reviews for for the different sign types on your case. In this situation, we're looking at investigators. And then we're going to take a look at an additional question. Now, these questions are rated, and depending on how these questions are answered, it'll deliver a score, and that score can kind of help you determine the efficiency of your employee. So we already have a couple of questions. I'm just going to add an additional question. Let's go ahead and add. Let's add a multiple choice question, so you can see how you can assign value to certain questions in the multiple choice. So if we go to this, we can say, was the investigative report submitted on time? So as opposed to just having a rated yes or no or not applicable question, we can have a multiple choice drop-down question. So we can say, on time, and it gets 100 points. We can add additional one. We can say, so do 1 day late, they get 60 points. Maybe it's 2 days late, maybe they only get 20 points, and then it's if it's more than 2 days, 0 points. Right? Great. So you have a range of different multiple choice questions, and you can weight each question with a particular value. You save the custom field. See, it's made available for all these different cases. I'm going to save the review. Let's go to that case that we were just looking at, and let's move this from open working to the investigation complete. And what this will do will generate a performance review for each one of the investigators on the case. If I click on the Reviews tab, you can see that I have an investigative performance review for Dick Tracy ready. I click on that, and I can answer the review. So I can say, were all company protocols followed? Yes. Were all case updates submitted accurately and on time? Yes. Was the investigative report submitted on time? It was 1 day late. We can say the review date is for today, and then we can set this as complete or potentially needs attention if we need to look over some particular question or behaviors on the part of our investigator. I'm going to go ahead and save that review, and then we can see that it generates a score based upon the average of the questions on this review. Now this score right here is going to carry over and travel with the investigator. So I clicked on the investigator's name, and I can see that he has an average rating of just over 93%, and it averages out over the last 100 ratings. So you see, the more you use the review system, I think the more accurate you'll see their performance being reflected in this number. All right, so that is the whirlwind tour of case reviews. Hopefully you found that useful. If you have any questions, of course, send them our way to support@trackops.com. Otherwise, we'll see you again next time. Thank you for using Trackops.